welcome to episode 5 of Live Chat with Karen and Alex. Today we're going to talk about being happy. So Alex, what makes you happy? Apart from me being here, obviously.
Obviously. What makes me happy? There's so many things that make me happy.
Okay.
When the sun is shining.
Absolutely.
That makes me happy.
Big fan of that.
When I am with my family and when I'm with my animals, they make me so happy.
Of course.
Spending time with people, that makes me happy. Spending time with my friends, my friends. Spending time with my friends, that makes me happy. And working out, being in the gym, that makes me happy. When I've finished. I love training. I do love training. Obviously, I train lots of people.
Yeah.
But when it's that, once you've made a decision to get in there, you've got in there and you've finished your workout and you know you've smashed it.
You've achieved it.
That makes you happy.
Yeah, great.
So what makes me happy. So they're the sort of things that make me happy.
Okay.
And the odd chocolate.
Just the odd chocolate. And I guess the odd gin and tonic.
Yeah, but if I had to choose between the two, it would be more chocolate than gin and tonic. But yeah, what about you? What makes you happy?
Sun. Yeah, again, it's funny, isn't it? Opening the curtains in the morning, and the sun's there, the sky's blue, the day is going to be warm, it's flip-flop and shorts weather all day. Oh yeah, always. I think for me, I mean, there's lots of different things, like it depends on your mood to some extent. If I had to choose my favourite place to be, well, clearly it's going to be Spain, on a beach with a book, not many people about, but nice hot weather. Or a beach in Tenerife. I know that's part of Spain, but it's different. I don't know. I like time to myself.
Yeah.
But like you, I like being with people as well. The right people. So people that lift my energy. But it can depend. Like I said to you earlier, it's my daughter sometimes will bring me a cup of tea and then she'll put it on a plate, put a couple of biscuits on it and bring that to me without me asking, and that's great. And when my son, on the rare occasion my 18-year-old 6'4" son decides to hug me, that's great too. That doesn't happen very often, but that's fine. But yeah, that was almost a time-stopping moment because it doesn't happen often, and it is really lovely. So yeah, those things make me happy, and music.
Oh, definitely. I love music. Just makes my heart sing, music. If I had to choose between the TV and music, there's no competition. It's me always. It's always been music.
No, I'd agree with that. I think the only advantage to music and the television together is that you get the lyrics come up sometimes. That way I can learn all the lyrics I've been singing wrong for years and years. So sometimes I prefer my lyrics, so I just keep those. But you're right. I mean, it depends what mood you're in as to what type of music, but I wouldn't say I'm a tuneful singer. I'm not in the slightest, but I do like singing. And if I can belt out a good old tune in my kitchen or my car or wherever, I just feel so much better, regardless of whatever else is going on. So yeah, it definitely has.
Yeah.
Has a huge uplifting effect.
Music definitely does. And I think for me, if I'm angry, I'm angry very often. But if you get like a bit het up, I can blast music and sing and whatever, and that really does help to sort your energy levels out.
Gets the emotion out, doesn't it?
It does. But if I'm if I just want to relax and spend time with myself, then I might be walking around the lake, which is my absolute happy place. But my favourite film of all time, and I said I don't really watch telly, but favourite film of all time, it's a very old film, it's True Romance, and the headline song in there is called You're So Cool by Hans Zimmer, and it's just, I'm not going to hum it, I did try. I tried to hum it earlier and it was just like, you've killed it, Alex, you've killed it. But you can Google it, it's lovely. Maybe I might put a link to it at the bottom of the podcast. But it's quite high pitched and quite chimey, and that's what works for me. I think it's those high pitchy tones, and we have a bath with all the candles and just a bit of classical. I do like a bit of classical when I'm relaxing.
Yeah.
So it's just having all those yeah, it just gives you all the feels, isn't it? It's like energy. That happiness is energy,
Absolutely.
but more of a feel, like
it's the
an
emotion that
internal.
comes from the thoughts that you have. So if you switch your thoughts to happy, you'll feel better. And if you do something that makes you feel better, your thoughts will automatically shift to a more positive type.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, though, like obviously we talk about being happy and being happy in ourselves, but what actually happens if you try and make someone else happy?
Well, it can work for a short time, but it's really not possible in the long term to be somebody else's happiness. Not unless you're pretty much willing to forego your own happiness and give them their happiness at all costs. So, you know, if you're in a relationship or even with your kids, saying, oh, I always make them happy, you really are setting yourself up for an incredibly difficult life, because they'll change and you'll be constantly almost running to keep up with and to learn what makes them happy, and so that you can fulfill that role. Which is why it's much better to find ways to make yourself happy and then encourage people to learn the same. But I'm sure we've touched on this before, but again, it comes back to how we're brought up.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's our responsibility to make other people happy, and it really isn't.
Right.
It really does affect how we feel if we are expected to make someone else happy in the long term. I don't mean you can't do a little gesture which makes them happy in the moment and, you know, have some consideration for them, but that's a world apart from, oh, you know, I have to make them happy.
Yeah.
You don't. Trust me, you really don't. That's their choice, because we've been there. I'm sure you have. Most of us have. You know, you try to make someone happy, but the fact is they're only happy when they're not happy. So you are expending all of your energy trying to lift them, and they just don't want to be lifted.
Yeah.
So really, you're much better off just letting them get on with whatever they want to do, and ideally moving away from them as quickly as possibly in the other direction, and to be with people that do help with that. Yeah. But ultimately, it's your responsibility. Your own happiness is your responsibility.
100%. And I think we might have said this last time as well, is you have that energy transfer. So if you are happy and your energy is high, you feel really good, and you know you can offload that energy onto other people.
Yeah,
brilliant, if they're willing to accept it. But not everyone's willing to accept that energy.
No, they're not.
But then you've got on the other side of the coin is you have people who don't have that high energy, and again the energy transfer works the other way, where it can take your energy. So if you're spending so much of your own energy making someone else happy, when it's not happening, it's not working for whatever reason, all you're doing is you're making yourself feel worse.
Absolutely,
totally by doing that. So so the key here is to make yourself happy. So everyone needs to grab a pen and paper. So while we're going through this, if there's anything you think of that makes you happy, then write it down, because we're going to give you a little challenge at the end.
Actually, we'll mention right here then. So when you do make notes, it would be useful to make them based on feeling happy within yourself and things externally to you that make you happy. Like you've just said, or we talked about music. Obviously, that's an external something. But of course, when you hear it, that becomes internal. So you're talking about whether you might go for a swim, that might make you happy. Or you might take 10 minutes to meditate and think thoughts of memories you've got, places you want to go, that might make you happy. So try to have a bit of a balance there as to internal happiness and external happiness.
Yeah, brilliant. I love that. But also, obviously, talking about the energy transfer, if you're trying to make someone happy and they don't necessarily want to be made happy.
No.
Is there something in your life that's stopping you from being happy? Do you fear being happy? Like, is there someone or something that is, you know, maybe putting their opinions on you that you're less likely to do the things that you want to do that are going to make you happy? And I guess that kind of leads into, you know, words like selfish. I definitely do not like the word selfish. I don't know about you, Karen.
I do. I just wish it was defined slightly differently, because I guess if you take the actual word selfish, it means doing something without consideration for anybody else, basically just putting yourself first. In fact, that's much better. Self
first, definitely.
Because it means self first is able to say no, even if it makes you a little bit shaky now and then, or say yes. It's not trampling on other people to achieve your goal, but it is saying, hang on a minute, I am just as, in fact, that's not true, I am the most important person in my life, regardless of anyone else, because it is my life and there is only me here. I am the most important person in my life. Therefore, I need to consider my wants and my needs, my objectives, my goals, my happiness, and anything else, as well as other things. But I have to look to me first.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's the same with anything. Like, we have to, and we definitely said this in the last episode, is if we are not feeling our best and behaving our best, we can't then support and care for other people that need us in our lives, be it our partners, our children, our parents, our animals, whatever. You know, they need us to be healthy and fit and happy, really. But yeah, so okay, so what other aspects of happy do we have? Laughter.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Laughter. So
I think we've both got a story here to share, haven't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, do you?
You want me to go first?
Go on then.
Okay. So, when was the last time you absolutely roared, cried, bogies everywhere?
I never do that.
What? Have you never done that?
No.
I've put only a few times, but like proper. It's like messy crying, isn't it? It's like messy crying.
Well, it never makes you look good, let's face it.
But well, it's the same thing. Like, crying and laugh, like, it's just serious. It is. It's just the emotion, and it's just the flip side of it. But I mean, I have laughed a lot over the last few years. Well, actually, I'm laughing now. But there's a little story I'd love to share with you. It was quite a few years ago, and there was before Jake was born. So there was myself and my husband and my stepdaughter Tash. We were sat at home. It was when we lived in, I don't know if we lived here, or might have lived in Essex. Anyway, we were sat watching the telly, and we was watching Miranda. And anyone that knows me knows I love comedy. If I'm going to watch telly, I mean, you know, it's going to be a comedian, it's going to be a rom-com, anything like that. They're my things. They fill my heart, they fill my soul. My husband, however, doesn't really do he doesn't do emotion, so I have enough emotion for both of us. And it's very rare to see him smile, and he won't mind me saying this, because this is his name, this is his personality, and he's known for it. So he doesn't really smile that often. Anyway, we were watching Miranda, this episode of Miranda, and Tash and I were literally rolling on the floor, doubled up. We were crying, absolutely crying with laughter. We were sat on the floor. I don't know why we were sat on the floor. Anyway, we turned round and looked at Martin, and he was just sat there like, just so straight-faced that he was just like, I don't even know what's funny. And of course, when you're laughing at something, and then someone is so straight-faced and they just don't get it. I mean, I don't know how we could have roared anymore, but we did. We found it in ourselves, and even now we still talk about that story. It's just, honestly, if I could have filmed it,
have that, to be fair.
It was brilliant. It was totally brilliant. Yeah, hilarious. What's your story?
Well, a number slightly different to that one, but a number of years ago I did a burlesque course, which you know about, and before you perform, you have to have a stage name. You have to have the name of your alter ego, but you have to research this, because you cannot have the same name as somebody else. So there are different websites you can go on that will help to give you ideas and help to generate your burlesque name. I didn't end up choosing one from the site, so I can't remember what I had now, but I liked it anyway. I loved the backstory. It was awesome. But I was at my friend Mel's house and I was telling her, so we were going through these list of different names. And it was funny because some of them are funny. If you know anything about burlesque, you'll understand why it can be amusing. And I started to read out these names and I started laughing and then she started laughing. And it got to the point where we were laughing so much, I couldn't speak. Every time I tried to tell her another name, I was just laughing so much. We were absolutely crying with laughter. I couldn't breathe. It was that funny. And even after she messaged me, went, "Oh my God, I can't believe that. I could not stop laughing." And even now when I think about it, it still makes me laugh.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those, you can't make that. It's not false.
No.
You have to, it just happens naturally, doesn't it? And it's, I think the only other time I've laughed anywhere near that was watching John Bishop live.
Oh, I love him.
Absolutely. You
I
say
love
about
him.
Martin, well, my ex, I can't remember if I mentioned this, but my ex, he barely laughed ever. And I think the only time genuinely I can remember him actually cracking a smile, well, maybe a vague laugh, was at John Bishop. So clearly John Bishop is, you know, this amazing man that can make any miserable so-and-so laugh. Maybe I should take Martin along.
I'll try it.
See that?
I'll try it.
But
that's really
you
funny.
can't beat that. That
No.
laughing is just, I don't know.
Laughter
it's how
is
it ought to be.
It is. And
Yeah.
it's such, you know, it is such a tonic. It is. It's
definitely.
the best therapy. Best therapy is laughter. Not that I want to Karen out of a job, but laughter is the best therapy.
I'm sure my clients
And
laugh at me now and
actually,
then, but that's fine.
There is I remember quite a while ago someone said there is actually such a thing as laughter therapy, and you can Google and the other thing with laughter is it's infectious. So you cannot,
well, to certain people,
to
some people obviously
some
immune
people
to
are
it.
immune to it, yeah.
Bit
But
like
we
you,
actually I wrote another little story here. So
Go on,
quite recently myself and a group of girlfriends went to see Alan Carr, and he was just brilliant. And we was quite near the front, so in the second row, I think, and it's quite a small, intimate event. And at the end, there was 5 girls, us lot, and then next door was this elderly gentleman, and then I assume his wife. And the lady behind them she just couldn't stop laughing, and like she was letting out snorts and all sorts. And the thing was, it was making everyone else laugh, okay, but this guy he was getting so annoyed that in the end he turned around to her and told her to stop laughing. We were all there at a paid event to see a comedian and he turned around and told her to stop laughing. I mean, yeah, it's just bad. But then you get the times, do you ever have those moments, I don't know how I do it, but you have those moments where just something really stupid sets you off, and you don't know what it is,
but then you can't stop.
No. And I start like almost like screaming, like cackling, and just you know, and I don't even know. You don't know what it is that's done it, and then you're trying to talk when they're saying, "What is so funny?" I don't know. You can't get the words out, and then it just sets you off again. I mean, they're the best. We have more those.
I often recommend, funnily enough, when I work with clients who are struggling to sort of level out their emotion, is to find funny things to watch, and again, put music on. You know, I'm often, I know I've said this, I'm often found dancing in my kitchen, usually when YMCA comes on. I mean, you just can't help it, can you? And people are saying, "Oh no, I couldn't do that." Why? "Oh, I couldn't do that." It's your kitchen, you can do what you like in it, well, within reason, as long as there's no big windows at the front. But yeah, of course you can. But some people seem resistant to being happy. So I don't know whether that's because they've had times when they've not been happy, so they worry that if they're happy, when they don't feel happy again, it's going to seem that much worse because they've come down from a high. I mean, I know when I work with clients with depression, that is one of the conversations we have, because it is awful. But at the same time, the more you do that, the more you get to that point, the more likely you are to be able to maintain that level of happiness in a longer term. But honestly, you know, I do think some people are only happy when they're not happy. and it becomes part of their personality.
Yeah.
Whereas others seem to be happy pretty much regardless of what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. I know in the morning on the way to school, so my son doesn't like school. He goes every day, but he doesn't like it. And he's a very good student, but he just, for whatever reason, he doesn't like school. So we'll be driving to school, and there's a little song that I sing to him. I'm not singing it. Just to cheer him up, because the last thing I want to do is drop him off at school knowing that he's miserable, because he's going to carry around that with him all day. So I'll be sitting there and I'll go, woohoo! And he'll just be like looking at me oddly, but he's trying so hard not to smile. But you need to carry your list of the things that make you happy, the things that make you laugh. If it's a specific song, or if it's a specific comedian, or a situation, or a YouTube clip, or I don't know, whatever it is, have it to hand on your phone. I use the notes on my phone for everything. And when you're feeling that you need that little pick me up, put it on. Just put it on, and it will just disperse.
Yeah, and if you find something that you can do every day,
yeah,
the more often you make the decision to find something that makes you feel happy, the easier it will be, and the more you'll be able to find those things.
Yeah.
So happiness is not a destination; it is a way of life.
100%.
So you have to. I mean, we all know we have moments when happiness seems to elude us. Different things are going on, and it's a struggle. But then those are the times when you want those people around you. You can lift you at that moment in time. But other than that, generally speaking, happiness is a decision.
Yeah.
You can choose to be happy, or you can choose to be miserable. And I know which I prefer.
100%. I choose to be happy.
Absolutely.
Always choose to be happy. And like you said, there are events in life that can totally flip you on your head, and you don't know what to do. And I lost my brother 26 years ago, and you're really given the choice of, you can mope or you can pick yourself up. As horrible as the situation was and still is, I'm still here.
Yeah.
So I actually did make a vow to live my life double. I've done in sections. I need to do the sensible stuff now, because he didn't get to live his life. So I could have, yes, I did make around for a little bit, I'm not going to lie, but
that would be understandable.
But it's all part of the process.
Yeah.
And now, I think about him every day, and it is sad, but I'm still here. So I remember those things, and some of the things we did, and we honestly had such a laugh. And even the situations that weren't that ideal, like, you can look back and laugh at. So it is just, there isn't anything better than feeling happy, but there's nothing worse than feeling sad.
Interesting you say that, though, because one of the difficulties I find people experience is when I work with them, I say, so what does happy mean to you? Because happy means different things to different people. So perhaps one of the reasons some people struggle to find happiness is because they don't really know what happy means for them.
Yeah.
So perhaps the first thing you can do, if this is an issue for you, is to sit down and define what happiness is for you. Forget the description in the dictionary or what anybody else thinks. Think about what it actually means.
Yeah.
Because then you've got a better chance of achieving it, because you know what your goals are. You know that if it's music, right, I can create a playlist that works for me. Or it could be anything. It could be taking time for yourself. It could be being more with other people. It could be several elements. It's not just one thing, is it? Happy doesn't come from one thing necessarily. I mean, to be fair, it all comes from your state of mind and your thoughts and your emotions. But there are things that can work together with that to balance it. So, and know that what makes you happy now, it can change.
Yeah.
So define it for you, check back regularly. This isn't the challenge, by the way. Alex is going to tell you about that in a bit. And check with yourself, does this still make me happy? Do I want to change that a little bit? Have I done something else? Was there something I did as what we were talking about earlier on, sort of late teens, early 20s, being when you were single? or not single, but you know, when you did more things because life was just freer then, I guess, when you've got no responsibilities. What did you do then that made you really happy that you could perhaps start doing again now?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, don't go to Ibiza for a month and leave your kids at home on their own. That's not really acceptable, but
darn.
I know. But you know, but maybe you can find someone to look after them for a week and get there, or whatever it might be for you. But there are those things that we can do that remind us.
Yeah.
You know, as kids, we sort of, you know, we're happy. Often, obviously, not everybody is. There's different circumstances, but we're happy freely and naturally because we just expect to be in a way.
Yeah.
But we've lost that.
No, that is true. But we lose that as we get older because we get into routines, additional responsibility. But actually, one of the things we were chatting earlier, and there are things that, you know, playing out in the street when you're a kid and going out riding your bike and all that kind of stuff. But what I really, the time for me that just sticks in my head for things that I'd love to do again is, but when I used to go out, but I suppose in my younger adult life, I wouldn't get up until 2:00 on a Saturday or Sunday. If I was going into town shopping or whatever, I'd get up a little bit earlier. But the girls would come round about 4:00. Mm-hmm. This is obviously on a weekend, on a Saturday. They'd come round about 4:00 in the afternoon. We'd like all get ready together. We'd have the music on. We'd have like a bottle of wine. You know, we'd like be swapping clothes, all that kind of stuff. And it was brilliant. And then we'd go out, and when we went out, we were dancing. So again, it's creating that energy. And I do think as we get older, you know, the status quo is a bit more, oh, let's, you know, we can go out for dinner, and you know, it's all very nice, and it's very nice to go out for dinner, and I love going out for dinner. But are there actually any places where you can go as a proper grown-up to dance without being called grab a granny?
Surely you'll be grabbing a granddad, not a granny, but yeah. Funnily enough, you say that. I was with friends not the weekend, just gone, the one before, and we had music on and we were dancing around our lounge. I mean, literally. Do you remember that song, Rock the Boat? Yes. So we started to do that, and somebody videoed it. It's not going anywhere, don't worry. And then we realised that we couldn't actually remember how to do it exactly. But yeah, no, we did. And it was like an adult pyjama party. So it was excellent fun. So there we all were in our, whatever age we are, in our pyjamas, slippers or not, depending on the person, dancing around her lounge.
Fabulous.
And yeah, it was. All right, we weren't all dressed up to the nines and out at a club. But I tell you what, everybody joined in. Every single person joined in, singing, dancing. None of us claimed to be, you know, some better dancers than others. I don't doubt that. But it was so much fun.
Yeah. And that's it. We need to get the fun. Bring the fun back. The happiness will come. You're happy. The laughter will absolutely flow. And like last weekend, like Saturdays for me tend to be household chores, washing. I've never done so much washing. But last Saturday I was like, right, I met up, I went and had my nails done, had a back, neck and shoulder massage, very nice it was. And then I came home, picked up a friend, and we went to Cambridge, and we went out for lunch, and it was just brilliant. We were sat in the car, it was pouring with rain, so I was like, I'm not getting the bus. So I drove, so I didn't want to be stood at the bus stop. And we were like, I'm driving along, she's in the passenger seat, we're just chatting away. She's like, right, where should we go for lunch? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And we just both looked at each other and went, the Ivy. And she'd not been there before. And I'm like, driving along, sorry, I know it's probably not legal, but we're like, I'm high-fiving as I was driving along. And we were just like, I felt like I was a little kid again. Yeah. You know, got that excitement back, had a lovely lunch, and then we went shopping. It's like, I don't know the last time I actually did that on a weekend with a girlfriend.
Yeah, it's good.
So it's just making sure that you do that. And my my goals for this year are to have date nights. I had a date night on Friday.
Is that with Martin?
That was my
okay,
with my husband. Date night with the husband. So we had a date night on Friday. And then doing that every month, making sure that I
Mhm.
see my friends once a month as well, which is brilliant. So I've got loads of friends, so literally I'm just going to be out all the time. But yeah.
Excellent. So, Alex, why don't you set our lovely viewers their
So
little challenge?
there's a challenge. So our challenge for you is take a listen back at everything you've heard us talk about. Think about those things that make you happy. Write them down. And as Karen said earlier, it's not just the internal, but also the external. Think about the last time you laughed. What makes you laugh? What just fills your soul? So as you go, and if you can't think about it, have a pen and paper or your phone, whatever, that you can easily access when you feel these feels.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes our minds get so overwhelmed with just daily stuff, that we forget those things that make us happy. And just write down, when you're in that moment, absorb it and then write it down. Okay, make sure you enjoy that moment. And then once you've created that list, just find maybe 5 things. 5's a nice number. 5 things that you can do every day. Maybe do 1 a day, but at least do 1 thing of those 5 every single day, and see what it does to yourself and also to the people that are around you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And drop us a message.
Let us know how you get on, what your challenges for yourself were, and how you get on, and how different you might feel when you do that. And if anyone else notices a change in your mood, your energy, from the fact that you've made these deliberate changes within your life.
Yeah. And the only thing I'm going to finish on is a disclaimer. Whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you laugh, please make sure that you stay safe and you stay legal.
Yeah, because we're not giving you permission to do anything other than that.
No, absolutely not.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for yet another enlightening chat.
Brilliant. Well, it's goodbye from Karen.
And it's goodbye from Alex.
Take care. Da, da, da.
Excellent. How long was that one?
Stop.